Merry Christmas and happy holidays to you all. Let's talk about what's going on with COVID, stimulus packages, and our worthless politicians. And I think if there's anything that we all can agree on, we have worthless politicians from both parties. Um, I would not call this exactly exciting good news, but apparently a compromise was met with the new stimulus. Um, it's far less generous than the pre-election plan that was offered, but slightly and only slightly better than the first post-election plan. What Nancy Pelosi called a half loaf with the pre-election plan, well, the first post-election plan was a half a loaf of that, supposedly half a loaf. Having that said, this proves how shitty our politicians are. They truly are, and we need to do better. The plan itself, the pre-election plan offered a $1,200 stimulus check for every man, woman, child, I believe, in this country. That in itself, we need a UBI, and at least a UBI to the very end of this crisis, and ideally, we need anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 a month, in my opinion. I myself would support a $1,000 plan every month if there's a $1,000 plan being offered. But the $1,200 plan, one-time payment under the circumstances, I would say because of the circumstances, I would have supported that particular plan prior to the election. Let's fast forward to after the election. There was a post-election, the very first one. It was riddled with corporate welfare. There was no stimulus for the people, and that made it a totally a shitty plan. And so our politicians, even though they're shitty and pieces of shit, they're all, whether you're Nancy Pelosi or Mitch McConnell, you're all pieces of shit in Washington D.C. For the most part. Um, it will look bad to put a stimulus plan that basically tell the American people to fuck off. We don't care about you. You just go walk away and die. And that's how the American people will look at it, and they know that. So now there is a plan. The original having $1,200, and then the first post-election plan had zero. A compromise was made for $600. Very, very unacceptable. And Nancy Pelosi should be ashamed of herself for not accepting that first plan. Every American could have had $1,200 as opposed to $600. The original $600 a week of unemployment earlier this year that ran out, it's now been lowered down to $300. I think we should go back up to $600. And the corporate welfare this time wasn't as riddled as bad as the first one. You have to remember $4.5 trillion were given to American corporations and even corporations abroad in exchange for not laying people off. And some of these corporations lay people off anyway. The best part about this plan, the compromise plan, and this probably will piss off Mitch McConnell, and that alone makes it even better. Icing on the cake, at least, is the liability shield that was not added to this plan. And if you're not sure what a liability shield is, it basically is a part of the plan that will protect corporations from being sued if they actually endanger the lives of their employees with COVID, not giving them proper protection and forcing them to work in an environment where they could be exposed to COVID. And so Mitch McConnell wanted a liability shield to protect these corporations. Well, luckily, that's not been put in there, and I'm so glad. So I don't know if I fully am on board with going with this plan, but I will say it's a mild improvement to the first post-election plan. But this plan could have been so much better. Now, how could this plan been made better? Well, for starters, as I said, there's been talk about hashtag force to vote. And this is where the squad and the new addition to the squad coming in shortly in January could make a difference, encouraging Nancy Pelosi to allow an up and down vote on Medicare for all. And this will be a chance to force Medicare for all to be actually something to be discussed with the potential of having its passage, because the passage of Medicare for all, once it's implemented, there's going to be far less people suffering from COVID. We need a Medicare for all. We need at least a temporary UBI plan, anywhere from, in my opinion, from $1,000 to $2,000 a month until for the duration of this crisis. And I actually think it should be a permanent thing, to tell you the truth. And when it comes to evictions and rent, that sort of thing, I think that we need to right now suspend rent and allow people to not pay rent so they can keep so they don't go homeless. And that's what needs to be done. And if we don't, I mean, there's going to be. I'm actually surprised we don't have massive riots on the streets over this shit that's going on in the past year, and our politicians' inability to do anything about it. I mean, Great Britain has pretty much socialized the wages of people that work in the private sector, so they're getting a UBI right now by default. Let's see who else. Let's see. Other countries are doing something along those lines. I think Great Britain is like 70, 80%, and in some other countries it's like 90%. But the employees are being laid off. They're not without money coming in. They've already had a national healthcare system, so that was a built-in mechanism that actually saved lives. You compare the lives that were dying in other countries from COVID to the 300,000 that died this past year from COVID here in the United States. Do the math. As I said, and I'm going to keep saying it until I'm blue in the face. New Zealand, 22 people died. United States, 300,000. New Zealand, no longer a COVID crisis nation. It officially defeated COVID. New Zealand, everything is back to 99% back to normal. The United States, well, this shit is still going to continue. And I'm glad we have vaccines, and I'm glad that's going to help. I know it's going to help, but we do things so ass backwards in the United States, and we need to stop this. We need to stop this kind of mentality of the government not doing anything for the people, or the government mandates something. It usually means to actually order you to do something. The old nanny state without the actual nanny routine, and that seems to be the American way, and that's unacceptable. So I was probably with a great deal of reservations to see the passage of this plan as a mild improvement, but exceeding far less than what I hoped for. But we need to do better next time. And there's going to be a next time. This virus ain't going away. And Democrats, let me warn you that if you don't do anything for the people, and this is all of y'all, all the Democrats, the progressives and the corporate Democrats combined, if you don't do something that's going to create tangible positive results for the people, where the people will be grateful, you're going to see the Republicans retaking the House in November of 2022. And Democrats, if you manage to get hold of the U.S. Senate in the next month, in early January, in that special election runoff, it's going to be with a razor thin majority, and you're going to lose that majority in the following election if you do not go and help the people of the United States. And that's my advice. Do something. Do something. And that's what you need to do. Otherwise, we're going to end up with a Republican Congress for the next several years. And it's going to be Bill Clinton presidency and the Barack Obama presidency, but with a virus where the Republicans are not going to do anything. And the people know the Republicans are not going to do anything. So is what they will expect, then you may end up with something worse than Donald Trump for president in the year 2024, like a Tom Cotton or Ted Cruz. Those motherfuckers are worse than Donald Trump or Mike Pence. So just think about this. And, just if you want Democrats, if you want to survive, the left is the only way it's going to save your asses. If you like what you heard, press like and comment. If you were bothered by what I have to say, just bite your lip and comment anyway. Feel free to share the content on this channel. As a First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to inform you that if you are passionate about something and you happen to have a platform, utilize it. If you don't have a platform, you're passionate about something, create that platform. Utilize it, because we're all the muckrakers of our time. And most importantly, subscribe to this channel. And until next time, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Peace. I'm American Social Democracy and Bernie Sanders for president in the year 2024.